The other one, which is I think everyone will talk about here, the overseas competition. It's the perfect storm at the moment. We've got a high dollar, well we did until a few days ago. We do have the GST, which makes it more difficult, and we don't have global pricing for a number of the suppliers. So it is very difficult for the local guys to compete. I do believe these prices will get closer, but we do need to work better to engage the customers in Australia, and a lot of that will come down to local customer service, being able to service people, being able to have returns policy so people can do that. And I think importantly, it's a huge opportunity for multi-channel. If you can work with mobile, with the internet, and actually use the stores as well, I think that is a way to really to knock that sort of overseas competition, at least sort of keep it reduced. Another challenge is managing customer expectation. In immature markets like Australia, everyone goes on price. They don't care about the service that much. They go, great, I've got 70% off, I've got 50% off, and it'll get delivered sometime in the next few weeks. That lasts for a while. My view is that moves to value plus convenience over time. And so we invest a lot in trying to ensure that whilst we have good value for our items, we also have that level of convenience there. And whether that's delivery, whether that's customer service, whether that's refunds that people understand, that is where this thing's going to go into the future. And you need to invest a lot into it, but that's where it's going to go. And I think lastly, which we all know about, this thing isn't cheap. When I was first in the auctioneering business, you'd make some money at the end of the year, you'd pay your rent, you'd pay some staff, and basically the rest of it you could put into your pocket. The internet's a different space. At the end of the year, you've got to keep reinvesting in what the new thing is, whether it's new website, new technologies, new ways of doing things. It's a different game. So why is it so addictive? I mean, I love it. There's always different models. You've got flash sales, you've got group buying, you've got new competitors starting all the time. I mean, when we first started, we had GoFish, Sold, Stuff, all these different companies. Now we've got all these new ones as well. So it's always changing, it's always fun. And in my particular role, we are selling trucks and cars and mining equipment through to perfume, to Chardonnay, to everything. So it's always doing different products, and it's really interesting. And we're just lucky that we've got experts in all those particular categories. We're really lucky too, because we're in a space that's growing. I mean, unless you're sort of in mining, we are in a really hot space that the whole market's growing. So if you can keep your market share, it's a nice time. The other thing is you can always measure what happens. And so everything you do is measurable, which is a lot of fun. And you can get, so for instance, if we do something wrong or something right, I'll get comments through coming on my CEO blog. We also use NPS, or Net Promoter Score. So we regularly research our customers. And if you're not familiar with it, essentially it's one question, is that based on your last purchase at Grays, would you recommend this company to a friend? That's all the question is, and then you rate that 0 out of 10. It is really compelling, and for people like us that love numbers, it's really easy because you get a number at the end of the day and you realise whether you're going well or badly. And you can also recognise where it's coming from. Is it products or is it service? One of the things that we came up with is our pickup area in Homebush. People were really frustrated. They were taking an hour out of their day to stand there. It was a long queue, and it wasn't a great experience. We fixed that up now. The NPS has gone through the roof. So it's a really good measurable. There's another piece of software we use on our website called Campile, and I've noticed that they're actually exhibiting here. That's great because you understand what the customers think of you, and they're always giving you feedback. And we present that every executive meeting we have. An agenda item is what our customers think of us. And so that's important. And I think lastly is that the internet's scalable. You only have to dream. You don't have to keep building, more retail shops. You can get a new warehouse pretty easily. You just turn up to Goodman and say, I need another 5,000 metres, and off you go. It is scalable. So it's just how much you can dream. So for Grays and the future, so I think this scale, if you have a look at the y-axis, you can see percentage of retail. And so that's where the majority of the retailers, the wholesalers, the manufacturers sit at that full price area or a little bit less than full price. And we believe that in terms of full price retail, they are going to manage that themselves, and they're going to manage their own customers, because really the manufacturers and retailers should manage your own customers. You shouldn't be handing it to someone else. What's important for us is to stick to our knitting, and that is to be a discounter. And so you look at the first one is you've got the fixed price discount, which I'll go through the next slide. The second is auctions, and our focus is to do long-term sustainable models, to focus on those type of models that we know will still be going in 5, 10, 20 years' time. And our chairman, Jeff Gray, he said to me, he goes, Cameron, the auction business is the second oldest profession. And apparently what used to happen is the Romans went out and plundered and then came back, put a spear in the ground and auctioned all the stuff that they'd got. So I'm pretty happy that the auction business isn't going to change in the near future. So then we sort of predict, okay, what's going to happen over the next few years? Which models will still be there, which won't? Which then leads into what we're doing next. So the future for us is, if you look across the top, is our new business called Grays Outlet. So this isn't a flash sale. What this is essentially a virtual DFO. And so this is working with the manufacturers, the suppliers and the retailers on an ongoing basis. So instead of having a bricks and mortar DFO, you've got a virtual DFO managed by Grays. And what we're able to do here, working with people, is actually leverage all of our strengths. And so our strengths are that we're actually really good with partnering with people. You know, a lot of our suppliers we've actually been working with since day one, and so that's the way we like to operate. We also have a lot of traffic that we can drive here. We also know how to do the customer service. We know how to do the logistics. We know how to drop ship from different people's locations. We know how to do cross-docking. We can do our own warehousing. So with all of that, we think that this is a pretty compelling offering, and so this actually launches tomorrow. So happy to be able to sort of tell you guys about it today, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you.